Hello and welcome back to another video. It's a very exciting week at the Severn Valley Railway this week, something you've all been waiting for. 4150 is going to be moving under its own steam for the first time in over 60 years. Now I haven't got anything else left to say apart from let's get into it.
Hello, my name is Peter Maddicks and I'm the Honorary Chairman of the 4150 Group. I've been involved with this locomotive since 1972 when a group of us who were originally on the Dean Forest Railway decided to buy a locomotive and we chose this loco. Since then the loco has been at various sites. It started off being moved to Park End on the Dean Forest, but unfortunately we were not allowed to do any work on it there. So the loco moved to the Severn Valley, spending a night in Gloucester Shed on the way, and then went to Bewdley, where we were off to a flying start. The boiler was removed, tanks, cab, and then we removed the chassis from the wheels. Work progressed for a few years, but then people got other commitments. Myself, I got married and had a family and started a business. And a few of us, unfortunately, are no longer with us. So it slowed down until eventually it almost came to a standstill. Then 19 years ago, a gentleman called Peter Willoughby phoned me totally out of the blue and said, "Do you know anything about this engine around the back of the paint shop at Bewdley?" I said, "Yes, I know a little bit about it, Peter." He said, "What is it?" I said, "It's a large prairie." Peter then went away and looked on the internet to find out what a large prairie was. He really was keen to see it move on as it had stood there for so long just decaying. And we formed a new committee of well-known Severn Valley characters. And then over the last 19 years we set to get the engine running. The original estimate was 10 years. We then found that the tanks were beyond repair. The bunker was beyond repair, so we had to make new ones from scratch on the ground at Bewdley in the open, which took best part of 12 years. Once that was done, we then started work on the boiler, preparing it to go into the boiler shop at Bridgnorth. That's when things really started to move on. As soon as the boiler was in the boiler shop, then we had to push on. The locomotive then followed a few months later and went into the works, straight onto the wheel drop where we lifted the engine, the jacks, not the wheel drop. We lifted the loco and took all the wheels and axle boxes out. Good job we did. We did have some criticism from people why we'd taken it off its wheels again, but it had stood for 20 plus years on those axle boxes and all the oilways were blocked and it was in a shocking state. We replaced all the underkeep pads, cleaned all the oilways, put in new felt pads, and hopefully that should keep her going for quite a few years. Now today we are here after 61 years to get the engine finally into service. Today it will be going out on a test run, and Will later will give you an update on all the little things we've had to do to get the engine ready to run. I would like to also thank all the people who have worked on the engine over the last 61 years. Some of them unfortunately are no longer with us, but without all their efforts over that time we would not be where we are today, so thank you.
All right, welcome back to Bridgnorth. It's a pretty exciting week this week because, as you can see, I've got 4150 behind me, which this week is making its first moves for 61 years, I think. Someone will probably correct me. And its first moves in preservation. We've steamed it, but this week is we steamed it a couple of weeks ago for its insurance exam, but we hadn't moved it until this week. Main reason being we hadn't set the suspension up at that point, so I wasn't comfortable moving it around under its own power without the suspension set, getting all the weight distribution right, and we hadn't finalised some brake issues either. so that's not really ideal for moving it if we haven't got working brakes. But we've done some mods to the braking system, some stuff that I've always wanted to do to a Great Western vacuum braked engine, to use more modern materials where I'm sure Swindon would have used them back in the day. So we've done some mods and it seems to have all worked really, really well. But we'll take it down the line today and we'll find out if those have worked. My involvement in this loco isn't anywhere near as long as Peter's is. So my involvement with this started when the loco came up to Bridgnorth a few years ago, and me along with my colleagues have sort of assisted the 4150 fund, sort of guiding them in the right direction with what to do with some of the more technical tasks. But I think everyone will say it's amazing what they have achieved. And the last few weeks well, this is all I've done really for the last few weeks, is work on it 5-6 days a week. I've done valve setting weight distribution, de-snagging, so testing all the systems, making sure everything works, rectifying any faults, making sure everything passes our sort of examination tolerances, and yeah, everything works as it should. So today's exciting, but we'll see what happens as well. Right, so we've just got back to Bridgnorth. We've been out to Highley and back with the 41. Fundamentally, it's all pretty good. Everything works as it should. Because I'm a perfectionist, there's some little tatting about with the brakes, and there's a few other little things that just want doing whilst we can address them and whilst we know about them. But yeah, so one of the faults that we just want to look at is the left hand front cylinder cover's just got a little bit of a weep on it. Which might settle down, but equally we're in a position where we can address it now before the engine's released into general traffic. So that's partly why we're doing the testing, because we want to find the faults and we want to address them rather than falling on some poor unsuspecting driver who's just trying to enjoy his footplate turn. The other one is brakes on this engine are worked off vacuum. So you have a cylinder below the engine, brake cylinder below the engine, and that has a rubber piston ring in it, and either side of that piston is a differential vacuum. So we have, when we're running along normally, the brakes offside of the piston, the train pipe, runs at 25 inches of vacuum, and the brakes onside, the reservoir, runs at 23 inches of vacuum. And then as you start to brake, you put air into the brakes offside to deplete that, so the brakes onside can overcome the brakes offside, pull the piston up and pull the brakes onto the wheels. And that all works. We've done a lot of messing around with that to get it really nice. And that all works, but to get it to the point we're like kind of perfect and happy with it, there's a little bit of a leak on the train pipe side when you're going below 5 miles an hour. The vacuum pump is meant to keep the brakes off, and the faster you go, in theory, the quicker the vacuum pump goes, and the quicker it's pumping any leaking air that's getting into the vacuum system, the quicker it can pump it out. But that's the first couple of inches when you're going at slow speed, just leak off a bit quicker than we probably like. It would still be perfectly safe to use, but we want it to be a little bit better, and we've got the opportunity to make it better. So that's one of the things we'll look at before we do too much more testing. Yeah, so over the next couple of weeks, we'll get the engine out, clocking up a few more miles, to give it a bit of a shakedown, see if any more faults crop up. So you may see it out and about midweek in the next couple of weeks. We don't advertise when we're out on test because we are setting ourselves up for a fall, even though nothing ever goes wrong and everything's perfect. But keep an eye on our socials, because there will be an announcement when you see it, when it will appear on passenger trains within the next month or so. So yeah, make sure you keep up to date and buy your tickets to come down to the Severn Valley.